You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
What Charlie preached and supported was the complete opposite of that. It was loving thy neighbor. It was supporting strong family values. It was saying that everybody has equal value, right? And therefore equal opportunity and equal hope. Everything that Charlie preached and stood for was from a place of love. You could apply it to any policy that supported, even immigration, right?
Like, because of these stupid mainstream media stories and lies, there's a 3 or 4 year old that doesn't have a dad as a result. And it just makes me so angry. It's so sickening that then there's people laughing. There's a video of a guy making fun of Charlie getting hit in the neck on campus. And it's like,
yeah.
Whenever I get so worked up, what is so humbling, I'm like, you know what Charlie would say? Charlie would say, pray for them. How are you doing with everything? First of all, I guess to start here, who are you? Remind us who you are with Turning Point Action.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. And then we can go into just us chatting.
Yeah. So right now I'm a media spokesperson for Turning Point Action. That's the C4. It's different than Turning Point USA, which has a lot more name recognition. It's the first organization that Charlie Kirk founded. And I first worked with Turning Point USA back in 2016, full-time. I transferred over to Turning Point Action in 2022. And I've obviously held a lot of different positions between the two organizations, most of those being in field work. It hasn't been media. I actually came into my role as a spokesperson, I think no more than 4 weeks ago. And so it has been a whirlwind of things. Obviously, this tragedy just shook us all. It shook me a lot because of the fact that Turning Point has been in my life for so long. I like to joke and say that Turning Point is my longest lasting relationship, and it is still to this point. And a lot of the people that are super close to me in my life are, my best friend. I met him working with Turning Point. A lot of coworkers around the country, were extremely close. The culture that was fostered within this political organization was unlike any other because we focused on that, on making sure that we brought in people with good values, with good character. And so it brought in a lot of people with very good hearts. And so usually people in politics might not like each other, or just working within an organization or a workplace, people might not like each other or find each other annoying. And that's definitely not the case, because a huge emphasis before we brought in anybody else new was in the culture points that we had. And
you
so
you started in 2016, right?
Mm-hmm. In 2016.
What was your connection with Turning Point back? How'd you get,
Yeah. So
involved
in 2015, when I was still a student at FIU, Florida International University, I was invited to this young person's political conference. The first time I ever heard about it, it was called Winter in West Palm Beach. And this was kind of the first origins of what is now the Student Action Summit, which is one of the largest political conferences in the entire country. This was held at a little hotel, rinky-dink hotel, in like the hotel lobby, with a couple hundred students, maybe like 300 students. And that was my first introduction to Turning Point. I was still a student. I was still just, an activist. And then come 2016, I see a friend of mine tabling on campus for Turning Point USA. And I walk by and I see this large foam sign that says Big Gov Sucks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that absolutely stands out to me. It resonates with me. I loved the messaging. Mind you, I was in my last year as a student, as a political science / international relations major. And I still, to that point, didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. Those degrees aren't necessarily STEM degrees, so the applications aren't as many as somebody with a STEM major. And I just didn't know where I wanted to go work in DC as a legislative aide, go work at a campaign, go work at somebody's office. Nothing really stood out to me. And in my last semester, full semester of college, is that Turning Point appeared on campus. And so between classes, I decided to volunteer. I just wanted to hang out and help them out and help recruit and bring more members to the chapter. I found that it was very easy for me to bring in new people because at least where I went to school, FIU, there's a large community of Cuban Americans, Venezuelan Americans, lots of immigrants, of parents that escaped socialism, escaped communism. And so despite it being a minority majority school, it was very right wing. It was pretty right leaning. And I think that set us apart from every other university in the country. We took off pretty well. It was a very big chapter, a very successful chapter. I graduated in the summer of 2016. I was missing like one class. And I remember taking my last final exam, and less than a week later, I was on a plane to Chicago for staff training to be a full-time staffer for Turning Point. And so that's how I officially started.
What was your first run-in with Charlie?
So it was in 2015 during that conference, but in a more intimate setting in 2016, because that was the official staff training. And back then it was just a handful of people. And so Charlie himself would run a lot of those trainings, and part of what he did was come in to teach us how to debate. And he gave talking points, and he also gave tips on how to debate. And the most important one was to stay calm, to keep collected, to keep your heart rate down. That way your ideas can translate a lot better. So it's definitely an honor to be able to say that Charlie Kirk helped train me and some other people on how to debate back in the day. And we still can carry on that legacy going forward. And a lot has transpired between now and then. I, worked overseeing South Florida, then Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, then North Carolina. And then, back in 2022, they're like, Driena, we don't want you to have too many restrictions on what you say. Turning Point Action is a pretty new organization. It's in its baby stages. Let's transfer you over there so you can help that grow. And it was a completely different animal since we worked more in the political field, more in the elections part of things and getting out the vote. I oversaw Florida, Georgia, North Carolina for Turning Point Action. We mobilized a lot of events. We put together a lot of events where we would recruit volunteers to learn how to use our application to then later on, when early voting started, they could use the application to tell their neighbors to go out to vote. They could use the application to see which of their neighbors had an absentee ballot at home that they hadn't turned in, and they could lovingly harass them to turn it in. And so that's my background. My background has never truly really been in media. It's just something that I have done as a result of the positions I have been in and giving presentations and talking to people. Growing up, my parents, especially my dad, didn't allow me or my sister to lose our language, Spanish. We weren't allowed to speak English within the apartment, and would even whip us in the back if he heard us talking in English. And so that definitely proved useful to this day, because obviously now I can do communications in English and Spanish and represent the organization both ways. So it's just been so much that has gone on since the tragedy this last week. It was definitely a bit of a blur at the beginning. I was in West Palm Beach when I heard of the news, which was where I had originally gotten my introduction into Turning Point. The Winter in West Palm Beach event was just, a few minutes away from where I was. And I was with a friend. I was with this lady who's one of the original founding donors of Turning Point USA. And I got a call from my Fox Noticias friend that, usually schedules me on to be on the show. And he calls me and tells me, oh my God, did you see what happened? Can you give us a comment? And I'm like, what happened? He was the one to break the news to me. And then I went back to the table where we were sitting and I told them as well, which obviously ended that afternoon lunch meeting. And we obviously then just started scrolling on social media to get the news of what happened. I think at first, the first thoughts are just at least for me, we recently saw a miracle happen live on TV with President Trump. And so my original thought was just denial. It's okay, it doesn't matter what happened. God's got us and Charlie's gonna get through this and he'll be fine. And then unfortunately, I got sent those videos that if you guys at home watching this haven't seen yet, please don't look for them.
Don't watch them. Don't watch them.
It's traumatizing if you guys are sensitive to that. Yeah. When I saw those, that's when I just broke down and lost it for a few days and took some time to recover. And I think I got through it by talking to other people within the organization, to my coworkers, to friends that can understand the significance of this. I was not super close to Charlie personally. I, have just worked for the organization and him for 10 years. But I know that there's people that worked with him on a daily basis and spoke to him on a daily basis. And if I was broken up about it, I cannot imagine how somebody like our COO for Turning Point Action, Tyler Boyer, must have felt. His wife, the kids, the security guys that just travel the entire country with him. It's
crazy because the nation has felt a weight from this. Mm-hmm. And I met Charlie once, at AM Fest, and passing because he was at a Liberty University booth right next to mine. But I know people that know Charlie and my, when it happened, 2 days went by and my wife and I just couldn't shake it. And it's we weren't even friends with this guy. And it's why is this so painful? Mm-hmm. And it just, I think, speaks to impact. It speaks to Charlie's impact. By definition, this is what impact means. The impact can be felt when something like this happens. And it just shows you who Charlie was. In the Turning Point organization, what's kind of going on right now? Is it kind of just we're waiting and we're just putting a pause on things? Or they doubling down on what plans are? What's kind of going on behind the scenes right now?
There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Definitely doubling down. And while obviously we have been given time and space to recover and to mourn, the employees that are remote, like myself, because a lot of the employees for Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action are remote because they're on the field. They have given us some time to mourn, and for the employees that are working at headquarters, they've opened up the facilities to allow people to go into work if they want to work. If they don't, then that's absolutely, fine. They're offering, mental health services and, food and just a place to welcome people to gather and talk to each other. I think that's been really important to kind of just help each other cope. This next Sunday, Sunday the 21st, there's going to be a memorial at the State Farm Stadium close to Phoenix, and they're flying out all of staff out to that, along with their spouses if they have one, so that we can all be there to memorialize Charlie. And so there's just been a great sense of unity in this, but also at the same time, the resounding message is that this isn't going to slow us down. This isn't going to stop us. In fact, I'm sure you've heard we've got more than 32,000 different people that put in a request to start a new Turning Point USA chapter.
Wow.
There's more people than ever that have reached out to us asking to get involved. So do you think we're going to not take advantage of that and not get back to them and tell them what it is that they can do? Absolutely not. We're going to...
Well, I don't think Charlie would have wanted you to
exactly
do that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just who he was.
Mm-hmm. So Charlie would have wanted us to put pedal to the metal and really just make the most out of this tragic event to get as many people who, especially previously, weren't politically involved to do so for the first time. Last night, I was at a vigil for Charlie at my alma mater, FIU, and I spoke there. And one of the things that I mentioned, and I asked the crowd to, raise their hand if they've ever been involved with Turning Point before, if they've gone to a conference, started a chapter, were a member, and a lot of hands went up. But the next thing I asked was, who's here for the first time ever hearing about Charlie, for the first time ever coming to any kind of quasi-political event? And a lot of hands went up as well. And that is just a testament to the movement, to the fire that has been incited within this country, to the revival that's coming. And so we're absolutely going to make the most out of that and make sure that those people feel welcome, that those people feel empowered to finally speak out. There's so many people that messaged me too saying, previous to this, I was kind of scared and shy about posting my own personal political beliefs, but after this, I just don't care anymore. I absolutely don't care. Yeah. Cost me what it cost me. So it's been a wild transformation. I think that we're gonna look back at this turning point in history, obviously name play there, and I think that this country is going to be divided in BC and AD, before Charlie, after Charlie's death. I think the landscape is going to be completely different.
It's one of those events you just have to ask why. And there have been so many people that are more bold in their faith. Because, Charlie was a Christian, and you have so many people going to church for the first time. You have so many people that are willing to talk openly. And, even if, I don't even think the answer is just you have to post on socials. I think just even relationally, familially, people just being willing to talk more. Yeah. It's just, it's such an impact. I think this is one of the hard parts, and I want to bring this up. So there's a lot of misinformation going on about Charlie right now. There's tons. Yeah. And there are people that are celebrating his death. There are people that are lying about who he was. There are people about lying about what he believes, that he was a rape. This is the same shtick over and over again, right? Why do you think people are so unwilling to give Charlie a chance and just take a moment and watch, not clips taken out of context, just watch the full thing? Why do you think there are people that are just so willing to just dance on his grave?
I think that a lot of it, the media is to blame for it. The left-wing propaganda and the left-wing disinformation and the left-wing slander, defamation that has gone on for so many years about Charlie and conservatives in general too. It's almost natural for a lot of these people that get their sources of information from this bubble of mainstream media to be radicalized, because that's what they're hearing from what they think are credible sources. I've mentioned as an example before, Stephen King the other day tweeted that Charlie Kirk supported gays being stoned to death, an abject lie. And imagine the person that reads that sees that it's Stephen King saying it, and they're like, oh, this person's pretty legit. And then, obviously their personal views are formed on Charlie because of it. And obviously I would think that anybody that believes gay people being stoned to death is not a good person. But for them, before that is corrected, before a note comes out saying, hey, this was wrong, a lot of people then have just already taken that information for themselves and base their beliefs on it. I think that a big step.
I was gonna say Stephen King apologized for that, and he's like, "Oh, I was wrong," but it's like, dude, the damage is done.
The damage is done, exactly.
10 million people saw your original tweet before you took it down, and I think actually as a result, his book company, the management company for his new book, pulled support after that statement. But and so he's now trying to get more people to read his book. But it's like, you can't just say that, and with a platform that you have, and then just say, "Oops, my bad."
I agree. And that's just Stephen King. The mainstream media has been doing that all the time. We see them writing insane headlines. And then at the very end, they'll write a community note or something in the end that says, this article has been updated this day. Oops, we spoke incorrectly. And this is actually the truth. Yeah. But nobody's going to go back and read that. And so I think going forward, to prevent this radicalization of people that are just, getting their information, and maybe, God bless them, they might not have bad intentions. They just think that this is this horrible person that believes these horrible things, which is false. We need to hold the media accountable. We should be suing for defamation left and right. And this is just a personal opinion of mine, I think Charlie's estate should absolutely be suing for defamation for any outlet that has spread misinformation about things he has done, things he has said, and make them feel it in their pocket, because apparently that's the only way these people learn their lessons. That's something that the Trump administration has been doing. Well, Trump himself has been doing as of late. He's gone back and sued a lot of outlets for spreading fake news,
just lying,
propaganda, and has taken in millions and millions of dollars from that. And that is absolutely money well deserved. And it's more than anything just to teach them a lesson before they decide to spread propaganda and incite hate, incite fear, incite division amongst us. Because that's what the left has been doing. That's their specialty, and it's in complete opposite to what Charlie stood for and to what he believed in. The left has tried to divide us by genders, right? To have men hate women, women hate men, to disassemble the nuclear family, say that that's a bad thing, to say that having kids is a bad thing, to drive race wars between us. And what Charlie preached and supported was the complete opposite of that. It was loving thy neighbor. It was supporting strong family values. It was saying that everybody has equal value, right? And therefore equal opportunity and equal hope. I think that's another reason why so many young people nowadays feel so hopeless and therefore are angered and therefore are radicalized, because the message that the left has been driving down their throats for so long is you're a victim because of X, Y, and Z. You're a victim because you're a woman. You're a victim because you're a man. You're a victim because you're a minority. You're a victim because you're not a minority. You have other people that hate you because you are of this race. You have another gender that hates you because you are the opposite gender. And so they see themselves in despair. And the opposing message to that is that, it's a message of love, honestly. Everything that Charlie preached and stood for was from a place of love. You could apply it to any policy that's supported, even immigration, right? Why is it that we support strong borders and enforcing our immigration? It's because we have a love for the people that are in this country, have a love of country. We want to keep it sovereign. We want to keep the values that America stands for. Why is it that we lock the doors at night, right? Is it because we hate the people that are outside, or we just love the people that are inside and we want to keep them safe? Nothing that he ever advocated was from a position of hate. Even people he vehemently disagreed with, on campuses, he would allow them to speak and,
And a lot of
what
times
it is
he'd
they
match their
believed. Yeah.
energy, right? Like if someone comes at him hard, he'd come right back at him hard. Like he wouldn't back down. But there
Exactly.
was never I was gonna play the video in a little bit if you feel like you're okay watching it. The White House put out a tribute video to Charlie Kirk, and I wanted to react to that with you later if that's something you feel like you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't know, like every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this on camera. Like,
Yeah,
I'll try.
I've been wearing waterproof makeup for the last several days.
Smart.
Smart.
That's why I don't wear makeup. So I'm good.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. I think I have a lot of people that are, like, I live in Detroit. We talked about this last time. I have a lot of friends that are Democrats, and I have a lot of business relationships that are on the left. They're Democrats. I just am talking to a guy the other day. He's like, left wing. He knows I'm right wing, and we talked about it. And I'm like, does it not bother you at all that your party thrives on lying and thrives on vilifying someone like Charlie Kirk, who you might not agree with their policy. You might not agree with Charlie. Like Charlie Kirk is a Christian, right? The Bible is what shaped his worldview when it comes to marriage, when it comes to everything, right? When it comes to having kids, not having kids. So like you might, even within the Turning Point family, there's people that he disagree with their lifestyle. Like he talked about that. But like you can't say that Charlie was a wicked white supremacist, racist. Like you watch 5 minutes of him and you realize that's disproven. And you have people like Jameen Hill, like Joy Reid, like MSNBC, CNN, just vehemently lie. And then you have people, and let me get on tangent for a second. And then you have people that Charlie's wife, Erica, goes online, has a 30-minute speech empowering us to take a step forward. And people are saying she's acting weird. People are saying they're vilifying the widow of the man that just got murdered in front of America. Like there's no depth of depravity to some of these people. And it just like, because Charlie represents me. Like I'm a Christian. I'm a 31-year-old dad of two. Like because of these stupid mainstream media stories and lies, there's a 3 or 4-year-old that doesn't have a dad as a result. And it just makes me so angry. I don't think I told you how I found out about Charlie. So my wife called me. She was actually driving on the way to my office, and she's like, "Hey, Charlie Kirk's been shot." And I'm just like, "What do you mean Charlie Kirk's been shot?" So I do what everyone did. I go on Twitter, I go on X, and I start figuring it out. I get a call from one of my friends, and she's like, "Hey, my brother was just on campus. He was actually at the event, 100 feet away from Charlie." And she's like, "Hey, Dylan, he didn't make it." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm like, everywhere's been saying that he's like, because there was like this report that went out that he was fine. He was like stabilized.
Critical condition.
Critical condition, but he's been kind of stable. And that report went out, and she's like, "Dylan, no, like brother saw it." And I'm like, no. And the report happened that he passed, and then in walked my 2-year-old daughter like 2 seconds later, and I just absolutely lost it.
I'm so sorry. And because I can't even imagine if you have children. I don't have children. I'm 31 years old as well. So you, me, Charlie, we're all 31. I don't have kids. I could not imagine the thought of having children, not having their parents in their life. And what's worse is both Charlie and the kids were in the crowd watching that happen. And the little girl especially heard the shot and being scared ran towards Charlie. And he was, obviously the victim of what happened. And so
I'm just saying, if that doesn't make you mad,
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
If that doesn't absolutely enrage you, and if you turn this, and like I'm gonna get controversial. There's people that are on the right that are turning this into immediately they're like, oh, it's Israel, oh, it's this, and I'm like, I don't really care, dude. Like just for a second, show some grief before you get back on your pedestal, peddling whatever bullcrap you want to do. Like just for a second, stop putting whatever right-wing propaganda, left-wing propaganda. I don't care. Just like if this doesn't piss you off that a dad was just taken and a 4-year-old girl is like, where's daddy?
Yeah.
It just, it's so sickening that then there's people laughing. There's a video of a guy making fun of Charlie getting hit in the neck on campus. And it's like, whenever I get so worked up, what is so humbling, I'm like, you know what Charlie would say? Charlie would say, pray for them.
Yeah, that is.
And it's so hard. And as a believer, I need to say, you know what? God, I don't understand these evil people. But somehow you said you loved everyone in this world. I need to love them while also speaking truth. And both can happen. But it's hard because I see these things and I see people like Jamel Hill talk about how Charlie Kirk's death should be celebrated because he's a white supremacist. And I'm like, you have a platform of over 1 million followers just actively lying. That should be shamed.
Shamed and sued and everything. Like it wasn't the same day because I was, it was still too recent, but about a day or two later after it happened, I posted for the first time on social media, and I posted old pictures of myself and Charlie, and
I saw those.
That went viral. And obviously at first, since my following is very conservative, the messages were positive and supportive. But since it, hit the internet, obviously the left saw it, and the insane amount of disgusting comments that I have, gotten from that post that I try to, go in and delete as many as I can, has been insane. And it absolutely does anger you in the moment. And it makes you just want to, I don't know, it's hard to have compassion for people that are laughing and celebrating the death of what was objectively a great person, a great man. So makes you think what these people would do if they were in power. What if they had control of the government? What if they had control over our lives? How would they rule? What kind of mercy would they show people from our side? What kind of mercy would they show Republicans just for being Christian conservatives that have strong family values? Like, to what extent would they persecute us and jail us and allow untethered violence upon us? I think that's
the thing with, like, Charlie was the moderate one. This is what people don't understand. Charlie was the moderate, right? You killed the best.
Yeah.
He was the best.
He was the nice guy.
He was the one wanting to have a conversation. He was the one going to college campus. And you know why they killed him? Is because he was raising the next generation to actually think for themselves. That's why. He was
effective. Yeah.
In my opinion, this is Dylan's opinion, and conservatives might disagree with me. Charlie's death would be more impactful than Trump being assassinated. If that bullet would have connected with Trump on the campaign trail, it would have had a major worldwide impact, but nothing compared to what happened to Charlie. And the answer is, well, why? Because Charlie's not even an elected political official. Yeah. He's not even a senator or a president. He's a 31-year-old dude that had such impact that they had to take him down.
Yeah. I would agree with that statement too.
And it's just, yeah. So like, as a dad, like, I mean, you get like, I went home for lunch today and, ate lunch, and my daughter, she's 2 and 4 months. She comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Daddy, could you read a book?" Right? She didn't speak it that well, She's more like, "Daddy, read book," And in the past, I would have probably been like, "No, I got to go to work, honey. I'm really sorry." And I was just like, "Yeah, of course, 100%." And in our family, like this event has made it so real that life is short. that you never know. And so I would implore everyone that's listening to this, watching this, if we cut this up, spend time with your loved ones, spend time with your friends. Don't let a bad day ruin your family. Don't let a bad day ruin a memory.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that since this event, it's just shooken us to our core that like, it's been hard for me to put my daughter down at night. Like I just want to snuggle. Like it's just been such a real thing that you just don't know.
Yeah. One of the things that me and some coworkers, and it's only a handful of us really that had been employed with Charlie for such a long amount of time. We were talking about how we really don't have that many pictures with Charlie. It's only a handful. And it's because, he was our employer. And it's kind of like, imagine you go into work every day and you see your boss and it's like, hey, boss, you want to take a picture? Right, exactly. But we really did wish that we had more pictures so that we had more memories. And so going forward, that's something that kind of stuck with me, that no matter what mundane thing I'm going to be doing with my friends from now on, if they're visiting at my place and having dinner, we're just hanging out, watching a movie, to take pictures, to take videos, to just make memories. And that way we have things to really look back on. I think this has definitely made us think of what matters most in life. And it's made me think of, how much I want to prioritize those things that matter in life, and tell the people that you love them, to not, not skimp out on it because you think it might be too much. There's just no such thing.
There's no room for that. Yeah,
exactly. So
do you have any idea, like, have you heard through the Turning Point family how Erica's holding up? Like, I know that she made that statement, but my wife's father passed away when she was 6, right? Due to, he was on a run and just had a cardiac arrest and passed away on a bench. And that was tragic. But then there's another level to watch her husband and the videos everywhere, and she's never going to be able to escape. Like, how is she doing? Has there been any word within the Turning Point family on how she's holding up?
We get staff memos, and it's pretty generic. It's the fact that we're all praying for her. We're all praying for the kids. She's a very strong woman, as we saw from her speech. I can only imagine she must be absolutely shattered. Just from, they haven't sent out anything. So I can't tell you that honestly, but just watching her body language, especially when she was coming down from that plane, accompanied by JD Vance's wife, her body language, being slumped over, and it was so obvious that the weight of the world on her shoulders just weighed very, very heavy, and I cannot imagine being in her position and losing such an important person. For her, it's not just like a husband and a father. It's a best friend, because that's what your partner is to you. It's the person you confide in the most. And so having that torn from you, I could not imagine.
Yeah, and the fact there's still people and political commentators that make her out to be the villain, because when she stood up there and said, hey, we're going to continue to carry the torch that Charlie had, we're going to move forward, I listened to that and I'm like, wow. Like, that shows you how passionate Charlie was for this, how passionate he was. He was a true patriot, passionate for America, and it bled over to Erica. Yeah. And she's living it. And her way of loving him, her way of moving forward, is to say, Charlie, I'm going to keep moving this forward for you, baby. I'm going to keep doing this. And there's people out there that somehow made her out to be the villain because she's not grieving. And like, I don't know if you've seen those posts, but and I'm talking like big name with millions of like Democrat left-wing extremists and it's just like, how are you so hateful that
they're
you
sick
just
in the head
a moment? Yeah. And it just makes me, so before I go off on a tangent, I wanted to play in case you guys don't believe me, the people watching this, we clipped it up, of who Charlie was. what Charlie was about. I'd love to play a minute clip if you're okay, Driena,
Of
with me
course.
playing this.
Of course.
The White House put this together
Mhm.
of Charlie, and then they shared it after his death. And this is who Charlie was. And I wanted to play this for my listeners, because not all of them do socials, not all my listeners. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. I wanted you guys to know from Charlie himself who Charlie was. So I'm going to share this video and we're going to watch it.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.
Yeah, I mean, guys, that was Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. He was one of the people that practiced what he preached. You know, he told people go out and have a family and have kids. He went out and did that at a young age. He showed us by example what he meant. You know, he wasn't a hypocrite. I think that so many people in general, and especially in politics, they're not respected because they're hypocrites, because they preach one thing and practice another.
Yeah.
Charlie lived a life, you know, through and through that reflected what he said every single day. And I don't know that within our lifetimes we're going to get another Charlie. We're going to see another Charlie. But there's a phrase that I've been, a quote that I saw over the weekend. And since then, I have been pretty much parroting on every platform, because I think it's the one that kind of sums up this moment the best. And it's that, you know, a tyrant's rule is over with his death, but a martyr's rule begins upon his death. And I think that's absolutely true. They've made a martyr out of Charlie, and now as a result, his beliefs, his convictions are going to rule, you know, heavier than they ever would have. His message is going to spread to the four corners of the earth. Yeah. It's going to go farther than we could have ever imagined. For me, it's kind of hard to at first just understand why something like this would happen. There is only really, I swear, this is just personal to me, there's only one other technically celebrity death that I ever cried for, and that was Steve Irwin. Yeah. Because that man was a saint. I don't know a single person on this earth that can say a negative thing about Steve Irwin. And so I thought to myself, like, why? Like, of all people, you know, him. And obviously, Charlie doesn't have the same kind of public support, but that's because a lot of people don't know who he actually was and his character being slandered. And so for me to justify why these greats go so early, I think that it's because God sees that they put in so much work in such a short amount of time, that they did the Lord's work in such a short amount of time, that they just get called to rest, that they've completed their mission here on earth. And so they've just get called up early to watch what they did unfold. They've done the work of God for several lifetimes, and that's how I try to like justify it in my mind.
Well, first of all, it's the first time I ever watched that full video, so I don't think I was mentally ready for that myself. And I called my dad like 2 days after the event, and I hadn't really let out a good cry yet. You know, I was just kind of like more in shock, and I'm the kind of guy that I don't ever really cry, except for if I watch like animated movies, then I always cry in animated movies, because I just don't really make it a habit. You know, somehow Frozen 2 always gets me. It's just like, it's a great movie. And I called my dad, and I'm like, and my dad's a very strong Christian, very strong believer. And I'm like, Dad, why? And, you know, my dad just said, you know, hey, God has a plan. God's plan is greater than ours. And I'm like, okay, I know that to be true, but it's so hard to believe it. And I was talking to my wife, and I said, it just kind of clicked with me. I said, you know what's crazy? Charlie right now knows why. We don't. Charlie went to heaven, and I can guarantee you Charlie goes, why, Jesus? Why did this have to happen? And then Jesus opened up and said, this is my plan. And Charlie goes, oh, I get it now. Yeah. And for us, we won't understand it. You know, we don't understand why a dad has to go and the kids won't have a dad, but Charlie gets it now. And then I think for us, it's now our opportunity to speak truth, be bold, educate, listen, and have that humility and kindness for the next generation. Keep that conversation going, because that's all we can do. You know, if we spend too long in the why, then no action ever happens. And I think that's the hard part, is just, that's why I appreciate what Erica did so much, is almost like she gave America permission to move. Yeah. It's almost like Erica said, hey, okay, all right, guys, let's mourn, but let's move. And I think with that speech, that almost gave me permission to like, okay, let's get this thing done. Right. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
No, I felt very similarly. The day that, you know, it happened, my phone blew up. Yeah. From, you know, different people reaching out for comment, and I was not honestly in the right mental state for it at that time. And I had every outlet reaching out, and I finally agreed to the first one on Saturday, which was after Erica's speech. I saw it and I thought to myself, okay, you know, what are we doing? Yes, we're mourning. Yes, we're torn up about it. But what would Charlie have wanted? Yeah. Would he have wanted us to stay quiet and in mourning for several weeks and not make the most out of this momentum to get our message across and to bring in people into the movement? That's not the case. And so yeah, for me, the first time I spoke out, at least on any media outlet, was Saturday, and then everything else was kind of left for Monday and you know, and today as well. Yeah. So
is there a part of you? Is there a part of you that's nervous about going back out in the field?
I don't feel like I have the kind of target on my back that Charlie did. I have not gotten to the point of, you know, where I have liberal media outlets calling me a racist, homophobe, evil person yet to garner that kind of a target. So no, I'm not. And honestly, I also do believe in the Lord's timing and the Lord's mission for myself. And I feel that somehow I would know when it's my time. Yeah. And I know that there's still a lot of work to be done. And so my time will come when it comes. Yep. And that's pretty much how I go about things.
It's what my wife and I said. It's like, we control what we can control. And if it's out of our control, then there's no reason to worry about it. Exactly. Is there anything, as we wrap up, first of all, I just want to say thank you for doing this again. Of course. To me, this conversation is just special to me because, you know, just you taking the time, your connections with Charlie, me almost kind of getting to live a little bit vicariously through your experiences with Charlie, and Turning Point has been special to me. So I appreciate you sharing those and your history and your background and what you're doing. And is there anything final words or anything that you would like to leave us with? And then we'll wrap up the pod.
A call to action. That's what Charlie would have wanted. If any of this kind of matters to you and you want to take your first steps, if you're a student, you can go to TPUSA.com, get started there. You're not in school, you want to do something else, go to TPACTION.com. There's something for everybody. Everybody can put in their grain of sand. And we're here with open arms to help you guys come into this movement. So go on either website and get started, get involved, do it for Charlie.
Do it for Charlie. That's the best way we could possibly end this podcast. Thank you again for the time. And for everyone listening, if you don't know who Charlie Kirk is, spend 2 hours and just binge some videos. Don't watch one. Don't watch one out of context. Dig in. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, Charlie is this awful person, I just really hope that you would actually be objective and change your mind and learn that Charlie is one of the greatest men that we've ever seen, on his impact that he's left for us. And whether you're into politics or not, would you pray for our nation, pray for the people at TPUSA, the family at TPUSA, TPUSA Action, USA, and just pray for Erica and the kids, and that the Lord would still somehow be honored throughout all of this. And that's all we can pray for. But again, I thank you, Driena, so much for the time. This is a blast. You can come on whenever you want. We can always hang, whatever. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
And cool. All right. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.
See ya.